obviously you've had a bit of time to review the tape as well from the weekend. What was your biggest takeaway from it?
I think we started the game very, very well. I think we missed a couple of early chances that might have changed the course of the game. Then on roughly about 10 minutes, we conceded a poor goal from our point of view, and that gave them the upper hand. It allowed them to sit a bit deeper and be harder to break down. And then I still thought we played quite well with the ball, but we need to be much better, much more confident, much more fluid in possession to be able to break teams down. But I think it was a decent performance, and then something to build on moving forward.
Adam mentioned post-game that he was really happy with possession, but said, he wanted you guys to be brave with the ball. In terms of building up from the back as a centre-back, is that something that yourself and Brian and Andriano and the defensive group have been working on in terms of, bringing the ball out from the back and really trying to break lines?
Yeah, we've tried to implement that from last week and more this week. Not just the defenders, but the whole team. Everybody wanting the ball, everybody moving into positions to get on the ball, and that's something that Griff, really believes in. So we've been working on that a lot in training.
How desperate are the boys for a win?
Yeah, as you can imagine, I think there's only us in Western Sydney who haven't got a win. So of course, whether we'd won all three or we haven't won any, we'd be desperate to win this game. We see it as a good game for us, home game, and one we're really looking forward to, and one we're desperate to win. Yeah.
And with David's announcement, obviously you're going to have a chance to farewell him on Friday as well. I believe they're doing something for David.
David Williams
on Friday. Yeah. Is that motivation?
Yeah, I don't know him too well personally. I've played against him quite a few times playing against Perth. I've bumped into him a couple of times since being here, and he seems like a great guy. Everybody speaks really highly of him, and I think he's a legend of the A-League really in general. So I don't think I give us any more motivation. We're desperate to win the game regardless of David Williams' farewell or not. But he's a great guy, and like I say, we'll be desperate to win the game regardless.
What have you made of Central Coast so far this season?
I think they've been very, very good. I think a lot of people foolishly writ them off before the season because maybe they didn't make any big signings and stuff like that. But I think they won the Derby game round one. They put up a very, very strong performance against Sydney in round two, and they were the better team against Wellington in the second half. So yeah, it just shows you that maybe the people don't fancy them, but they've got a steel amongst them, and they've got a grit and a determination to prove a lot of people wrong.
Is that a bit what you take from it as well, like being underdogs? Is that where you like to be, or?
No, I don't think it really matters. Generally that's outside noise. As players, generally you can't control that. You just have to focus on what you can control, and generally it's the next game, and we've got to focus on Central Coast at home.
The home form over the last couple of years for Glory hasn't been great. Obviously that predates you, but you were part of a Wellington team which was renowned for making the Cape Tin a pretty tough place to come. What are some of the lessons you can take from when you were at Wellington, the Phoenix's great home form, and implement here?
Well, I think Perth and Wellington, the advantage they have is teams have to travel a long way and adjust to the time difference. I think at Wellington we always prided ourselves as being very hard to play against and very hard to beat. Maybe that was, I can't speak for how Perth have approached games over the last few years, but that was something that we prided ourselves on. We had a good record at home there. So yeah, that's something, moving forward, we have to be first and foremost difficult to play against, difficult to beat, and I think if you can dominate the ball, that goes a long way for that.